I've always wanted to have this Buddhist mentality about anger, and I think to a degree it is correct. I don't think you should show anger in most situations. I think it's counterproductive a lot of the time, but anger can be used as a kind of utility. Now, for the last 2 years, I've been more and more involved within politics. I think I've had relatively the same political beliefs for the last 2 years, but I've been engaging with it more. I've been seeing more and more of it. And as a result of gaining more knowledge of the subject, as well as seeing just how bad the world is, I get angry, but I also get sad. And throughout a lot of that time, it is just me getting sad that the world is as bad as it is. But when I notice the power structures that lead to that, when I notice the reasons why things are the way that they are, and by extension, the amount of people who are just misinformed or don't know how the system is directly causing all of this turmoil, not just on our own soil, but on the soil beyond us. When I see this, when I see the connections between these things, and I know that that is wrong, I, at first, when seeing the victims of such things, I get sad, but when I see the power structures, I get angry. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. In fact, I think it can be an immense utility to let that anger carry you as you continue, in your journey to be able to make the world at least marginally better, at least give more information, make it more readily available for people who don't understand these things, for them to take more action. You know, I think it is an immensely important thing to be able to retain your emotional reasoning for why you're doing the things that you're doing and propagating the ideas that you propagate. And the reason for me has always remained the same, that I know something is wrong, and when I see the amount of suffering that I see, when I know that it could be different, I cannot simply sit idly by while such injustices are taking place, while I know they are taking place and while I know they could be different. If I could be even the tiniest bit of a mechanism towards change in that area, then I will do what I can to be that mechanism, no matter how small. And anger, strong emotions, when we see these terrible things happening, or when we argue with someone over these things, and we see how they may be tools of this greater power leading to worse occurrences, this anger culminates into action. It shouldn't culminate into mere words put against someone else. It should culminate into action. That the way that one resolves one's anger is to become the change that you want to see, to push aside the thing that is making you angry, to make it to where it's no longer in frame. Just sitting down and saying, I don't want to be angry, or I will not be angry, is not enough to carry you if you truly believe in what it is that you believe in. Perhaps some people are more principled than I, and they're able to just out of free will, out of self-control, to make themselves continue fighting for what it is that they want to fight for. And to a degree, I can do that as well. But the power behind the actions that I take, the motivation behind the actions that I take, is nowhere near it's not there in the same way without the element of anger or sadness or even fear to a degree. These essential emotions inspired by an empathy for others are what leads to change. It's what leads you to take action to do things. So in that sense, anger can be profoundly healthy because it's leading to you taking on the power structures that are in place that you disagree with on a moral level, that you know are wrong. So realizing this, sitting down and thinking about what exactly it is that has kept me thinking the same way for so long, that has kept my head in the game, kept me wanting to continue on the path that I've continued on, is only the amount of anger that I feel towards what this world is. And I've continued not to let my position be shaken because I am angry. And if one is truly angry, if one truly believes in the things that they are angry about, one does not succumb to being pushed around a few times. They hit back with their fists.